propositions. Now, the challenge for a lot of folks in the advisory industry today, maybe listening on the call, is, but you got to actually figure out what your next bigger, greater value proposition is going to be. In a world where just saying I deliver, holistic, asset allocated, diversified portfolios and try to keep you on board with that, it's not that that's a bad thing to do for consumers. It's that it's not enough because everybody else is going to be doing it too, and technology is going to be automating it anyways, right? Like you can't go to people and say, I'll execute your stock trades cheaper because all my brokerage already did that. And you can't go to them and say, well, I'll pick you a mutual fund, because they're going to say, well, I can do that online. And increasingly, you're going to find you can't just say, I'll give you a diversified asset allocated portfolio, because they're going to say, I can do that. What else do you do for me? And I think the what else is going to be all about the financial planning and the personal financial advice that we give to people beyond the portfolio itself. And not that we won't still be helping with the portfolio, but that the portfolio alone isn't enough. We have to go beyond. And in a world where almost everybody in the industry is going to get pushed towards advisory fees and fee-based models, just saying we do comprehensive personal financial planning or comprehensive wealth management, that won't be enough, because everybody else is going to be doing the same thing. And that you have to go deeper. I think what we're going to find when we look back 15 years from now, well, so when we look back today to 15 years ago, the people who have the biggest independent advisory businesses today are the ones who were the earliest to shift to the AUM movement and advisory fees. The biggest advisory firms today, most of the multi-billion-dollar firms today, were all firms that started this 15 or 20 years ago. And while many of them did some good work along the way, one of the biggest reasons they're the biggest is simply because they got started the earliest, and they've been doing it the longest to get the compounding traction out of it. I think we're at the same kind of inflection point today, and what we're going to see when we look out 15 years from now going backwards is that the biggest advisory firms 15 years from now are the ones that today said, I'm going to move away from just doing this broad-based, generalist, holistic thing because it's too commoditized by technology, it's too similar to everybody else, and we're going to start making niches, and we're going to start making focuses, and we're going to start having specializations. And the good news, you can do almost anything as a specialization. As an individual advisor, virtually all of us can have successful practices with fewer than 100 clients. If you can focus in on an ideal A-level client, most of us can have successful businesses with no more than 50 A-level clients. I know some advisors that do it with 20 of their top clients, and that's basically their whole business, and they make an amazing living. And the opportunity when you really only need 50 to 100 clients or fewer in your niche, you can be extremely specialized. You can go in almost any direction that you want. I know folks that specialize in generations. We just work with millennials. I know advisors that just work with expatriates. I know an advisor who just works with people who work for the Department of State who are deployed overseas and need an advisor that can help them figure out how all the special rules when you're a State Department employee that's deployed overseas and you're a non-resident alien in another country while you're still a U.S. resident, and all the weird tax rules that come up. That's all he does. That's his whole practice. And he goes fishing for like 3 or 4 months of the year because it gives him a lot of spare time when he's got a deep specialization. And certainly, I think for where we are right now, apropos to the discussion, the folks supporting us today, the whole segment of retirement income planning, I think certainly is a viable niche.